And that was Great Big Sea with their song, Wave Over Wave. And I'm joined now by Toronto realtor, Mark Bullen. Good morning, Mark. Mark, as a professional realtor, how does our housing market here in Toronto compare with what people are seeing across the continent of North America?
Well, I guess in stark contrast to what we're seeing, south of the border, it's a bit of a debacle down there. Our market has been really robust, Joel. We've seen steady price increases this year. And in May, we had over 10,000 sales in GTA, which is, in fact, the second best May on record under the current real estate board. So when you consider that that number was achieved with 15% less listings than we had in May of last year, that's pretty amazing.
So we actually had fewer listings, but more sales. So houses are moving fairly quickly then.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you see this trend continuing, Mark?
Well, hopefully, in contrast to what you might think of realtors, we actually look for a balanced market, and hopefully this steady upswing in sale prices that we've seen over the last year will inspire some folks who've been perhaps sitting on the fence to list their homes. And as well, it's widely expected that interest rates will gradually begin to rise over the coming months, and these two notions should help create a more balanced market rather than what we're seeing now as a pretty clear-cut seller's advantage.
And with those incredible sale numbers and that seller's advantage, which neighborhoods are sort of the hottest? Where is it the most action in the city right now?
Well, I guess if you define the heat by percentage of listings that are selling, so I mean, a certain number of listings, and how many of those are actually selling in a given area, you'd have to look at Bloor West Village, High Park area. I guess on your district map, we would call that the W2. In May, I'm quoting May numbers again. I guess they're the most recent we have right now. We sold 100% of those listings last May.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, other areas. I think E2, the beach, East Danforth, always solid. I think we're up over 90% there. Aging Court as well, up over 90%. And in my neck of the woods, Riverdale, Leslieville, Blake Jones, E1 on your district map, we're looking at almost 90% of the homes that are listed are selling.
Now, there's always some pocket where buyers can still, I guess, get a better deal than other places. When you look around, where are those neighborhoods where you still see good potential upside? I mean, regardless, maybe there's a lot of sales and prices are rising, but which are the neighborhoods you really identify that people who are shopping around, who are buying, should look at that neighborhood as a neighborhood with good upside?
Sure. Well, I'm a huge fan of Leslieville. Gentrification here began in the late 1990s, and it has a real solid foothold here now. Prices are still fairly reasonable, and we have an improving housing stock here. People are putting a lot of money into their homes. They're renovating their properties, and those things combined, I guess, purchasing here is a real solid investment. I love Leslieville. What can I say?
Hey, and I know you do, and I know you make your home there as well. Are there any other communities that you would recommend that people look at for, and some of those same benefits that you get in Leslieville, the closeness to Queen Street there, the urban feel, but also some of the a little quieter maybe than being right downtown, but still the good amenities, the good shops? Are there any other neighborhoods that offer that same sort of mix?
Well, I guess certainly not any quieter. The beaches area is ever popular out here. If you're looking for perhaps something a little more quiet, we can move north to what we would call E3 on your map there, the Danforth Village. Highly residential strip of areas there, but still great access to transit, great access to shopping along the Danforth. I mean, who doesn't love to go and shop and eat on the Danforth? So those areas as well in particular would be great earmarks.
Mark, if I'm about to list my home, I'm getting ready to sell, as a realtor, as a professional, what 3 or 4 things would you tell me absolutely I should do as I'm getting ready to list to make sure that I get top dollar? Even though the market's hot and then prices are rising, of course, if we're selling, we still want the most we can get for our home. What are the 3 or 4 things that are must-dos when you talk to clients who are getting ready to sell?
Sure. Well, I guess obviously the first thing to do would be to work with a great agent. Pick somebody who knows your neighborhood inside and out. Pick somebody who's moving property in your neighborhood and someone you can relate to. We have choice in our marketplace, and for some folks, selling their properties by themselves can be a viable option. But you really need to have a solid foothold in contract law, negotiation, and you need to be really apprised of what's going on in your neighborhood. So, absolutely, first and foremost, pick a great agent, someone you can work with, and go from there. On the more sort of at the home level, depersonalization is huge. We find a buyer needs to be able to imagine themselves living in the property. And if that property is filled with your personal photos and clutter, it can be hard to get that vision. So we really recommend that people declutter and curb appeal for sure. I mean, curb appeal is huge. Cut the grass, add flowers in the spring and summer months if you can. It sounds crazy, but it really works. Repainting. Make sure that the entranceway to the property looks great and welcoming. These are curb appeal can't be overstated.
So really, again, find an agent that you're comfortable with, but also someone who's got a track record, and declutter. We've heard that from everyone, but it really works, and make sure you take care of the outside of the house as well. If I'm a buyer, and I guess the same sort of question, I want to find that property that I can get good value for. I don't want to just say cheap, because that's not really what you're looking for as a buyer, but what you're looking for is value. What sort of things as a buyer should I be prepared to do to make sure that I find a home where there is good upside, where there is good value?
Well, I think probably the best way to feel like you get good value in this market is to draw your line in the sand, for any particular property, and don't spend a penny more. Work with a great financial team. Figure out, what it is you can afford, what you're comfortable spending. Sometimes those things are different, and go from there. I advise all my guys that a bidding war isn't something to be feared if you have your line in the sand and you stick to it. Pick a price for a property that you're willing to pay, and if you can achieve it, you'll certainly feel like you did well. Secondly, I'd say find a property you can improve and add value to. Try not to be glamored by stainless steel appliances and dual sinks in the bathroom. I mean, these are things that you should look at adding yourselves, and dazzle someone else with them when you sell.
And that leads me right into my next question, Mark. If I'm not selling right now, but I own my home and I'm thinking about renovating, with an eye down the road to adding value, an eye down the road to maybe selling one day, what kind of renovations really add the most value in your opinion? What sort of renovation should be at the top of the list if I'm trying to add value to my home?
Sure. I kind of break those down as sexy and not sexy. And so kitchen and bath renos, sexy like with a big S. They can go a long way to adding value to a home if you do those things right. It's money that we generally think of as getting back when we've invested money in our kitchens and bathrooms. On the other end of the scale, wiring, really not sexy. Necessary on so many levels, but really not sexy. If your house needs electrical work, you do it for the safety of your family and the folks that are living there. But in general, it's not money that you'd see back on resale. So those would be probably the two ends of the spectrum there.
There we go. And are there any other sort of improvements that we might make? I guess because we enjoy it, renovations we're making for our family. But the bones of the building, as you said, the wiring, you're not going to see back. But any other renovations that you see people do that really in the end don't add a lot of value? If people are making that kind of renovation, they should know they're making it for themselves, but something that's not going to add a lot of value to the home.
Yeah, like I said, anything sort of related to the electrical stuff that is not money we generally see coming back. Even though we all need literally a roof over our head, people come to expect a decent roof when they buy a property. So, roofing can be fairly expensive. Perhaps not money that you're going to see back. Definitely not the glamour item that a kitchen and a bath would be.
So now I know we touched on this a little bit, but you see the whole city when you're selling homes, and you're in every neighborhood. If you had to pick one neighborhood that's really your favorite out there, which neighborhood is it?
Definitely Leslieville Beach is that cheating?
It's not cheating at all, Mark. If it's true, it's not cheating.
All right, I just don't want to be called a cheating here. I guess I should probably count that as two, but I think I see the two neighborhoods as really starting to run together lately, Leslieville and the Beaches feel. There's tons to do here. There's great restaurants, great parks, great people. Joe, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, and this is, I encourage everybody to come down and have a look in the East End.
There we go. So there's the pitch. If you're shopping right now, take a look at the East End. Take a look at that Leslieville neighborhood that is certainly gentrifying and really a very exciting place to be. I was down in your neck of the woods for the Riverdale Art Walk not too long ago, and had a great time down there.
Nice.
Mark, if people are out there and they're looking for a knowledgeable realtor, where can they go and find your contact information?
Well, you can email me at mail@markbrealtor.com, and you can call me anytime, 416-462-1888, and there'll be someone there to take your call.
That's perfect. And any last thoughts for people again, who are maybe on the fence, who are thinking about listing but not sure? As you said, the trend has been up, but you see a couple of factors that may bring a little more balance. Any tips for somebody who is thinking, they're putting it off, or maybe there's some other reason they think the market's going to go a little higher? Any tips for someone who's thinking about listing right now? Is this the time to do it? Should they be getting in now, or is there a reason to wait for the fall?
No, now's the time to go. We have pent-up buyers who are pretty much chomping at the bit right now, looking for properties to buy, as you can see reflected in those May numbers. Anytime you have a situation where you're working with more sales with less listings, I'd say if you're sitting on the fence, if you're looking to list, now's the time. Get out there and get that property on the market, and let us get to work for you.
Thank you so much, Mark, for joining us bright and early this morning to give us a little window into the housing market out there in the city.
My pleasure, Joel. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.